Hey, it's Mad. Welcome back to Quirky Seeker. Today we're going to talk about a subject near and dear to my heart for the 5th video in my health journey series, the WHOLE30. Disclaimer. This video is not sponsored or affiliated with the WHOLE30 in any way, shape, or form. The WHOLE30 has simply been a big part of my health journey, and that's what this series is about, sharing my experience with you guys. So yeah, to be clear, not an ad, not sponsored. The WHOLE30 doesn't even know I'm making this video. These are all just my personal thoughts and opinions and my experience. So here we go. So what is the WHOLE30? Is it fitting a whole pizza in your mouth in 30 seconds? Is it eating 30 donut holes in one sitting? Is it a diet, a cleanse, a cult? I'm going to explain it to you guys using tons of language straight from the WHOLE30. I probably will even quote directly from the WHOLE30 website, all the different books that they've published, and Melissa Hartwig herself. I think that'll be the best way to explain to you what the WHOLE30 is so that I can explain to you my experience with it and how it fits in with my health journey. The 30 in WHOLE30 stands for 30 days. This is what's called an elimination protocol because you eliminate these foods for 30 days and you see how you feel. Then you slowly, systematically reintroduce them and see what changes. You can read more about the scientific reasons and research behind what stays and what goes when you're on a WHOLE30 in their book, It Starts With Food. The short version is that it's based around their 4 good food standards. So they've eliminated foods that are commonly problematic for people in one of 4 areas: your brain, your metabolism and hormones, your gut, and your immune system. When I first heard about the WHOLE30, I was right smack in the middle of my vegan phase. I was super into health and all the crunchy stuff. I was really jazzed about anybody who wanted to talk to me about diet and lifestyle. And along came some peeps who were adamant that the WHOLE30 was amazing, that it had changed their life. I was totally down to try something new, so of course I started asking questions, and I found out pretty quickly that I did not like the WHOLE30. I totally understand why they cut sugar. I understand why you can't have artificial sweeteners like aspartame or stevia, and I even got that just for 30 days, go ahead and cut natural stuff like honey and maple syrup. That made sense to me. I was on board. It also made sense to me that you would eliminate dairy. You should just eliminate dairy for life, I thought, because it's an animal product, and animal products aren't good for your health, right? But when I was informed that you're also supposed to eliminate grains and legumes, including pseudograins like quinoa and corn, I was like, what are you supposed to eat? Zucchini? Just have zucchini for 3 meals a day? Whole grains are healthy. Peanut butter's healthy. Beans. Beans are a nutrient-dense food. Why are we cutting beans? Now that I know a little bit more, I'll answer my own questions. These foods are not necessarily good or bad by WHOLE30 standards. They're unknowns. They're commonly problematic for a lot of people. So, by eliminating and reintroducing them, you'll find out how they actually are for you. This isn't eliminate these foods forever and never have beans or peanut butter again. This isn't a WHOLE365. It's a WHOLE30. Okay, so you're supposed to cut sugar, grains, dairy, and legumes. What are you supposed to eat? You're supposed to eat meat, seafood, eggs, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. You can have healthy oils like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. You can use vinegars, spices. You can cook, you can eat food raw. I have attempted a Whole30 3 times, but I've only actually done one once. Let me explain. The first 2 times that Nate and I attempted a Whole30, we were not in the right mindset. We still believed that we could get all the nutrients that we needed from plant foods. And we vaguely had this concept going on that animal foods were bad. So we tried to do a Whole30, but we also tried to avoid meat, seafood, and eggs. We tried to abide by the rules, but we cheated every couple of days. And because we thought our cheats weren't a big deal, we were, after all, cheating with healthy food, like some corn in my salsa or some quinoa on my salad. We thought that it probably wasn't affecting the Whole30 very much, and then that kind of spiraled into us cheating more and more, slipping up, and eventually deciding that this Whole30 thing didn't even work and quitting early. Now, the 3rd time we did a Whole30, that was completely different. Someone very close to Nate and I was diagnosed with cancer. And when they shared that news with us, they also shared that they were going to be doing a Whole30 along with their partner. So Nate and I jumped on that bandwagon. This person and their spouse said, "Hey, we're going to do a Whole30." And I said, "Hey, I'm doing it with you. Nate and I are doing a Whole30. We're doing it. If you're doing one, we're doing one. Whatever you're doing, we're doing. We can all do it together, and we'll help each other, and we'll encourage each other, blah, blah, blah." And then this person whom I love, because they were so sick and because it was such a challenging time for them, they isolated themselves. So for me, at that point, while they were undergoing lots of different treatments for cancer, chemotherapies and surgeries and being sick and all of this stuff, I was left with nothing. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how they were doing. And I was worried and frenzied. And I had this need within me, to help. I needed to do something to help them. I needed to drive to their house. I needed to bring them food. I needed to sit by their side and hold their hand and watch television reruns. There had to be something that I can do. And there was nothing that I could do except the Whole30. It was time to research. If you've heard of the Whole30, you know there's a whole bunch of books. I've read It Starts With Food. I had borrowed it from a friend. I own the Whole30 and the Whole30 cookbook, which are both out on loan right now. And I have the digital copy of Food Freedom Forever, which is amazing. I'll have to talk about that another time. And more recently, I picked up their new Whole30 Fast and Easy cookbook. But the best part about the Whole30 is that you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to buy the books. All of the information is available for free online. Go to the Whole30 website. You can find all of the rules. You can find tons of support and resources to help you have a successful Whole30. Okay, rant over. So back to my story. As I was researching about the Whole30, I found out that it's what's called a short-term nutrition reset. Nutrition. I like that. Melissa Hartwig calls it hitting the reset button on your health, your habits, and your relationship with food. One thing that really helped me to stick with it when this Whole30 got hard was watching videos of Melissa Hartwig talking about your health, your habits, your relationship with food, talking about finding food freedom. Yes, it's no cheats, no slips, no excuses. There's some tough love there, but as the famous Whole30 saying goes, it's not hard. Loving someone with cancer, that's hard. But this 100% compliance with the rules is important. Let me tell you how I know. And oh, do I know. Because following the rules was the only way that I felt like I could help my loved one, let me tell you, I followed the rules. I followed the rules to a T, and there was no cheating. There was no nothing. There was making myself ground beef and cabbage. There was salads with chicken breasts and avocado. There was all the Whole30 things, eggs for breakfast every day. There was trying new recipes, and there was eating the same thing over and over again because I was so lazy. And there was a raging sugar dragon. I started to discover the reasons behind some of my negative habits with food. I started to see my relationship with food in a completely different way. And my health. Oh, my health. Now, the Whole30, one of the rules is that you're not allowed to step on the scale for the 30 days because it's not about the scale. It's about your health, habits, relationship with food. So they have what they call non-scale victories. And did I have non-scale victories? Of course, as I started eating less processed foods, less sugar, more vegetables, more whole foods, I was experiencing dramatic improvements in my health. But it was nothing like when I went on the Whole30. I didn't realize you could feel this good. Now, of course, at first, I didn't feel good at all. I felt angry, irritable, tired. If I hadn't had my own personal motivations for sticking with it, I never would have made it because the first part was awful. But as time went on, things started to change. Ailments that had previously plagued me, headaches, fuzziness, dizziness, weariness, fatigue, started to fade. I used to just have little aches and pains all the time. It was always something different. There was never really a reason for it. And all of those things slowly started to fade away. I didn't know that I had been bloated before, but I knew when I stopped feeling bloated. I didn't really have skin problems, but then my skin started to clear up. The best of all was one day when I stepped out of the shower, took a look at myself in the mirror, and said, "Who is that?" It wasn't a dramatic difference. I wasn't a different person. I hadn't been obese before or anything like that, but my shape was different. Once again, I didn't step on the scale. I have no idea how much I had weighed before or after my Whole30, but I know that I changed. My body composition, I don't know how to say this without sounding conceited, but I was sexy. I was sexy and I wasn't even trying. In fact, I was almost the opposite of trying. Because I was not overweight at all, I wasn't concerned about losing weight. In fact, I went into it, even this third time, with the belief that I probably would gain weight. And so, I let myself eat whenever I was hungry. In fact, for the first week or two, I even let myself eat when I wasn't hungry. If I was having a craving and I wanted something sweet or a treat of any kind, or just something that was not compliant, I told myself, you can eat, but you have to eat some compliant food. I ate like 5 meals a day. I was eating all the time. I was eating like 4 eggs, as a part of a bigger meal. I was eating, late at night, beef and veggies, just because it was like, well, that's easy, and I'll just keep eating until my body gets the signal that you're not getting any of that other stuff. This is it. It's this or nothing. So stop telling me I'm hungry. Stop telling me that you're craving something because you're not going to get it. Eventually, my body got the message and it stopped sending me those signals, and I started going back to eating more typical size meals for a person of my height and weight and activity level, and I started being able to go for long periods of time without craving anything, food at all, or feeling hungry, or feeling irritable and seeking food to make that irritable feeling go away. This video is getting super duper long, so let me wrap it up just by saying this. The Whole30 changed my life. I looked at food in a whole different way. Nate and I both felt so much better at the end of the 30 days, and we were not done. We were not ready to reintroduce foods. We felt like we had found something so new. We had such a huge epiphany. We kept going. We went for another 30 days, and then we felt like, let's keep going. We went for another 20 days. We did a whole 80 before we ever reintroduced anything. But there's quite a lot to that, and as I said, this video is pretty long, so I'll have to cover it in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoy making these videos for you. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, or head over to Instagram, comment on one of my pictures, or send me a direct message. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Later, haters.